What we just witnessed this past weekend was better than what I initially predicted. It was an utter one-sided dominating beatdown, which is actually what I predicted, and I did say that if the fight was to go into later rounds, that Khamzat's cardio would hold up due to him training with Sam Calvita, and I thought that would play a big factor in this fight if it were to go to the later rounds. And of course, this is what happened, and Khamzat looked the best he's ever looked in terms of his conditioning. He didn't look worn out, he didn't look tired, was in no trouble besides maybe the last 20 seconds of the fight when Dricus was on top, and at that point, Khamzat was just coasting his way to his title, and completely one-sided domination. Like I said, Dricus had nothing to offer Khamzat on the ground, and it just was not close in any aspect of that fight. Arguably, most people had scored that fight, I believe, 50-42 or 41, whatever it was, 50, I think it was 50-42, due to the fact that you have to give Khamzat, 3 10-8 rounds at most. I mean, the fact that Dricus got put in crucifixes multiple times in a fight, I think, is absurd, and it just goes to show you the level of domination in terms of the grappling. It just was not even close. Completely one-sided beatdown, one-sided affair. Moving forward into this video, we're going to talk about the future of the UFC middleweight division. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. This is not looking good for if your name is not Khamzat Chimaev. I don't know. I don't see who is going to be able to beat Khamzat right now. I mean, most people, I think, would say either Anthony Hernandez or Reinier de Ridder have the best chance of beating Khamzat. And I mean, in my opinion, if Reinier de Ridder is your best shot at beating Khamzat, that motherfucker is never losing the belt anytime soon. I think he mops the floor with Sean Strickland, and that like I said, that would just be an utter beatdown. But I'm kind of going out of order right now, so without further ado, I'm going to start with who I think would have the best chance in terms of who could actually beat Khamzat and give him a tough match. We already saw him whoop Robert Whittaker. I don't think we need to see him fight Jared Cannonier. Same thing with Brendan Allen and Roman Dolidze. Paulo Costa, I think the same thing. He'd probably do away with him too, even though I do want to see that fight just because of the rivalry between the two of them. I think it would be pretty good for the pay-per-views and the money, and just a good fight in general. We'll go with the people in the top 5. So right now at number 7, Anthony Hernandez. I think Fluffy is in my opinion, I think Fluffy actually would have a better chance than de Ridder. Only because de Ridder kind of, with someone like Khamzat, not to say that de Ridder's not good off his bat, but with someone like Khamzat, you don't want him on top of you. It's just a bad position to have with someone like that. If it was someone that didn't have that type of high-level wrestling, it would be a whole different ballgame. But Anthony Hernandez recently came out and said that he would drown Khamzat, and I mean, I just don't know how you could come to that assumption when you just saw him dominate Dricus, who is a strong motherfucker, and Khamzat was literally doing whatever he wanted to him, taking him down whatever he wanted, throwing him around. It like I said, the fight was not even close. And Hernandez, I don't think, is anywhere near as strong as Duplessis. Maybe for sure a better grappler, but I'm not sure if Hernandez is going to be able to deal with that top pressure from Khamzat. I don't even know if he's going to be able to stuff his takedowns. I mean, we saw Brendan Allen was able to take down Anthony Hernandez, which, again, is just not a good look. It's not a good sign. I don't rate Brendan Allen that high, in my opinion. Compared to Khamzat, it's just not even close. So, I don't know. I think Fluffy would end up getting dominated. I don't know if Khamzat would finish him, but I definitely think that Khamzat would do the same exact thing, probably dominate him, ride him out, coast to a victory. I would be very confident in Khamzat to beat Anthony Hernandez. Moving on to Kyle Brohio, we've seen this guy, fight some of the best guys so far in the middleweight division. Kyle Brohio, though, was getting submitted by Khamzat Chimaev in training multiple times, and even though it is training, still just goes to show you that Khamzat, I feel like, might have his number. I think Khamzat probably could actually submit Kyle Brohio, and I think he would actually do it very easily, probably within the first 2 rounds. I don't think that fight would be close, and that is my prediction for that fight. Moving on to Reinier de Ridder, who's ranked number 5, and I don't know if you guys have seen, Chimaev and De Ridder are going back and forth right now, exchanging words on social media. And apparently, from what I'm hearing, is this is the fight that they might be making for October in Abu Dhabi. I mean, it would be a very, very sick fight, but like I said before, Khamzat Chimaev is just too much of a threat from the top now. And I actually do think that Chimaev can find a finish on De Ridder. I think Dricus is more tough to finish just because of how thick he is and how his tries are, man. He's just fucking, like I said, Dricus is massive, and he's a strong motherfucker, and he doesn't go out that easily. De Ridder, though, I feel like will do something to put himself in a bad position. He's almost like the clone Dricus, just with better grappling. I don't think that it would go very well, and I think that Khamzat would eventually find that submission. Probably either a rear naked or a Doris choke, one or the other. De Ridder, I think, is going to get caught in a submission if that fight is to happen in October, whenever that fight happens, to be exact. But that is the prediction for that fight. Moving on to the next contender, number 4 on the list, Israel Adesanya. I'm not going to stick around long with this, guys. We've seen Dricus take Adesanya down. We saw Dricus submit Adesanya, even though Adesanya is past his best days, and I don't want to say he's washed, but he's just not in his prime anymore. Adesanya would get murked. That fight's not even close. Khamzat would probably submit him within the first 3 to 4 minutes. I think that he could take Adesanya down, same thing as Dricus almost, whenever he wants, at any point in time, if the fight were to go long. But more than likely, I would bank on Khamzat to finish him in the first round. There's just levels, and Adesanya is way past his prime. And I don't think his grappling would hold up, even though Adesanya really doesn't have any grappling. But in terms of his defense, I don't think that it would hold up very well. And I think Khamzat would end up dragging him down and putting him in probably the same thing, probably a rear naked choke, and probably finishing him in the first 3 minutes of the fight. That would probably make the most sense. Moving on, like I said, Sean Strickland, number 2. Absolutely would destroy him. I feel almost the same thing as Adesanya, especially with Dricus being able to take down Sean Strickland. I don't see it. I think the same thing. I think Strickland would get finished in a round, and I think that would be that, and I think he would get absolutely obliterated. Not going to stick around long for that one. Number 1 contender, Nasruddin Imavov. I think Imavov would get fucked up too. I mean, taking Kyle Berhayo's word for one, is one thing. So I'm not really going to go based off of, all that and make like 100% accurate prediction. But he was saying, though, that Chimaev was submitting him like 10 times in 5 minutes. And I do believe it, too, because Nasruddin Imavov is not some crazy elite grappler. I mean, he definitely has some defense. But same thing, I feel like he's more of a better striker. We saw him fuck up Adesanya in the pocket in terms of those boxing exchanges. And Adesanya, I feel like everyone just cracked down on him anyways in terms of they figured out his style, they figured out how to deal with him, how to catch him. And that's just being in his face, being a pure boxer with power and being in his face. Because Adesanya has always fought good at his pace, fighting at the distance and fighting long, almost like John Jones. John Jones fights good when he fights long. But Imavov, I think, would probably end up getting submitted too. I just can't see him fighting out of those transitions, especially if he's getting taken down by Chimaev. This is just a very, 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 very dreadful time right now for anyone in the middleweight division because I cannot see a single soul in this division beating Khamzat, guys. And I'm not trying to glaze. It just is what it is. I don't think anyone genuinely can match Khamzat's grappling at this point in time. Unless some other top contender comes up and, comes out of nowhere, that's a whole different ball game. But I feel like at that point, Khamzat would probably be done and probably call it quits anyways. I think Khamzat Chimaev is going to retire, and I think when he retires, he will be in the top 5 conversation. I think some people will probably have him in a, like I said, almost as a GOAT conversation, like I've said before. So probably top 5, top 3. Whatever the case is, I feel like that's going to be the case with a lot of these new fighters that are coming up too. I feel like Merab will be in there, Topuria definitely be in there, but I'm getting off topic though. I do think that Chimaev is going to retire undefeated. I don't think anyone at this point in time is going to be able to give him a run for his money. I think Khamzat beats everyone right now in the middleweight division. His wrestling is just too much. the speed at which he transitions is too great for anyone to deal with or handle from all of the guys that I've watched at middleweight and what I've seen with my own eyes. I think like I said, I think he destroys everyone at middleweight, and I think that the entire division is probably cooked. And I think the only time that Khamzat could ever come close to losing a fight, I would say, is probably if he bumped up to fight Ankalaev. That is kind of the only time I would really be worrisome about him going up. But other than that, I just can't see anyone else really putting up a fight against him. And I think that everyone would either get finished or, would get dominated almost like how Drickus did. So, guys, that is all I had to say for this video. Just a little short, sweet, simple conclusion. I don't think that anyone really stands a chance against Khamzat. And I think that a lot of people, especially, going back to talking about this weekend, very, very strange how everyone was hating on his performance. I think it was, like I said, it was the most dominating performance I've ever watched in all my years of watching the mixed martial arts. And it's very, very weird because all these people were hating on Khamzat, saying, oh, he doesn't have cardio, he gasses out. After 2 rounds, that's it. That's all you have to do to beat him. And he shut all those people up. I mean, what more could you want? The guy gives you what you want. It proves you wrong. And then when he does, it's all boring, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, the guy dominated. He didn't just win. He dominated. You could have argued it was, almost every round was a 10-8 round besides maybe the 5th round. It wasn't even close. Just very, very weird. A lot of MMA casuals that don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they just want to sit there and hate. And most of the hate is coming from Duplessis fans. And, it is what it is. You respect the game and respect the art of mixed martial arts. If you don't want to watch it, then go watch kickboxing. Go watch boxing. I mean, it's just very, very dreadful to hear stuff like that. And a lot of MMA fans have turned into divas, and it's very, very sad and pathetic. But, guys, other than that, pretty much all I wanted to talk about and with this breakdown of this video. So I will see you guys. I will probably be uploading predictions for this week's card at 3 a.m. I believe it starts, like 3:30, 3:45, somewhere around there. So I will be uploading predictions for the upcoming card, and I will see you guys then. Later, everyone.